Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You know that feeling when you're like one click away from going down a serious rabbit hole online? Well, get ready because today we're taking that plunge into the world of Namecheap. Maybe you've seen their ads or maybe you're even on their website right now. Either way, we're going to dig into their story and see if their services really live up to the hype. So strap in and get ready to explore the ins and outs of Namecheap. To kick things off, we're diving straight into their About Us page. Right off the bat, their tagline caught my eye. A better online world for less. Sounds pretty good on the surface, right? But I gotta admit, I'm always a bit skeptical of those big sweeping statements. I mean, anyone can claim to make the world a better place, but what's the reality? So what do you think? Is this just clever marketing or is there something more to it?
I think you're right to approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism. It's easy to slap a catchy slogan on a website, but the real question is, what's the substance behind those words? And looking at Namecheap, I'd say there are a few things that stand out. First, they really emphasize their commitment to privacy, which, let's face it, is a huge deal these days. Every time you turn around, there's another data breach, another scandal involving how our information is being used and abused online. So seeing a company that puts privacy front and center is definitely a good sign, at least on the surface.
Right, because it shows they're at least aware of the concerns people have about online privacy. But like you said, the real test is whether they actually walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Exactly. Actions speak louder than words, as they say. But another thing that caught my eye was their emphasis on an open internet. Again, this is something that's becoming increasingly relevant in a world where censorship and control over information are on the rise.
It's like they're positioning themselves as the rebels of the web, fighting for a more democratic and accessible online experience.
Kind of, yeah, though I'd be curious to see how that plays out in practice. But one thing that's definitely not up for debate is their sheer scale.
Oh, yeah. When I saw that they manage over 17 million domains, my jaw practically hit the floor. I mean, that's not just a lot of websites. That's like a whole digital empire.
It's mind-boggling when you think about it.
Yeah.
17 million domains. That's everything from personal blogs to small businesses to massive e-commerce sites.
So what does that tell us about them? I mean, are they just really good at selling domain names, or is there something more to it?
I think it speaks to a certain level of experience and infrastructure. To handle that kind of volume, they have to have their systems down pat. They've probably encountered every possible issue, every technical hiccup imaginable, and found a way to resolve it.
That's reassuring, especially if you're someone who's relying on your website to be up and running 24/7.
Exactly. No one wants to deal with downtime or technical glitches that could cost them time, money, or even customers. So the fact that Namecheap has this vast experience under their belt could be a major plus for businesses of all sizes.
Experience is definitely important, but what about customer satisfaction? Do we know if those 17 million domain owners are actually happy with Namecheap services?
Well, they do have a 4.7 out of 5-star rating on Shopper Approved. And what's even more interesting is they actually link directly to their Shopper Approved page right from their About Us section.
Really?
Yeah, they're putting it all out there for better or for worse.
That's pretty bold. Most companies would just cherry pick a few glowing testimonials and call it a day.
Exactly. But Namecheap is giving potential customers a direct line to unfiltered feedback from real users.
That's a double-edged sword for sure. On the one hand, it shows a certain level of transparency and confidence in their service. But on the other hand, it also opens them up to criticism if things aren't going so well.
It's like they're saying, we're not perfect, but we're not afraid to show you who we really are. Whether that inspires confidence or makes you want to run in the opposite direction is up to you.
Okay, so we've established that Namecheap is a big player in the domain and hosting world. They talk a big game about privacy and an open internet, and they seem to have a lot of experience under their belt. But what about their customers? Who are these people trusting Namecheap with their digital livelihoods? Let's delve into some of their customer stories and see what we can glean. Maybe we'll get a better sense of whether Namecheap truly lives up to its promises.
Sounds good. I'm curious to see who they're working with and what kind of experiences people are having.
All right, so let's talk about these customer stories. Namecheap has a section on their About Us page where they highlight some of their bigger clients. And we're talking some pretty recognizable names here, like Figma.
Oh, yeah. Figma's huge, especially if you're in the design world.
Exactly. They've become like the industry standard for collaborative design.
Yeah.
And their CEO, Dylan Field, is quoted on Namecheap's site, saying that they trust Namecheap with their critical domains. Now, that phrase, critical domains, really jumped out at me. It suggests that Figma relies on Namecheap for some pretty essential parts of their online presence.
Yeah, if Figma's website goes down even for a short period of time, that's a major disruption to their business.
Not to mention all the designers who rely on Figma for their daily work.
Exactly. So that testimonial from Dylan Field speaks volumes about the level of trust Figma has in Namecheap's reliability and uptime.
And it's not just about keeping the lights on either. Figma's platform is all about seamless collaboration. So their website needs to be able to handle a lot of traffic and data transfer.
Absolutely. It's a high-stakes environment where even a small technical glitch can have big consequences.
So if Namecheap can handle Figma's needs, that definitely says something about their capabilities. Another big name they feature is Imgur. You know, the online image hosting platform that's home to countless memes and viral content.
Oh yeah, Imgur is practically a cornerstone of internet culture at this point.
Right. And their founder, Alan Schaff, is quoted saying that Namecheap support has been phenomenal. Now, I'm always a bit wary of the word phenomenal because it gets thrown around so casually these days. But in this context, it seems like Alan Schaff is genuinely impressed with the level of support Namecheap has provided.
Yeah, and when you consider the sheer scale of Imgur's operations, it makes sense.
We're talking millions of users uploading and sharing images every single day. That's a lot of data, a lot of traffic, and potentially a lot of support tickets if things go wrong.
Exactly. So for Imgur to single out Namecheap's support as being exceptional, that's a pretty strong endorsement.
It suggests that Namecheap is equipped to handle a high volume of support requests and that they're committed to resolving issues quickly and efficiently, which is crucial for any business that relies on its online presence, but especially one like Imgur, where downtime or technical difficulties can literally break the internet.
Or at least break the internet's ability to enjoy cat memes for a few hours.
Okay, true. That would be a tragedy.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Testimonials from big-name clients are great and all, but they don't tell the whole story. What about the everyday users, the small businesses, the individuals who are just getting started online?
That's a really important point.
Are their experiences as positive as the ones we're seeing from the likes of Figma and Imgur? Or are these just cherry-picked examples designed to paint a rosy picture?
It's hard to say for sure without digging a bit deeper.
Exactly. That's where things get interesting. Because remember how we talked about Namecheap linking directly to their shopper-approved page? Well, that's where we can get a more unfiltered look at what real customers are saying. So buckle up, because we're about to venture into the often unpredictable world of online reviews.
Let's do it. I'm ready to see what the people have to say.
All right, let's dive into these shopper-approved reviews. Now, I got to say, there's a lot to unpack here. We're seeing a mix of really positive feedback, like 5-star raves about their customer support and pricing. But then there are also some more critical reviews mentioning things like slow response times or technical issues that took a while to resolve.
Yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag, which, to be honest, isn't all that surprising. When you're dealing with a company as large as Namecheap serving millions of customers, you're bound to get a range of experiences.
Right, because even with the best intentions, things can slip through the cracks sometimes.
Exactly, and every customer has different expectations and levels of technical expertise.
So one person's phenomenal support experience might be another person's frustrating ordeal.
Absolutely, and that's why it's important to take these online reviews with a grain of salt.
Right. Don't base your entire decision on a single glowing review or a scathing 1-star rant.
Exactly, look for patterns and common themes.
Like, are people consistently praising their pricing but complaining about their support?
Or are there recurring issues with specific services like domain transfers or VPS hosting?
That kind of analysis can give you a much more nuanced understanding of a company's strengths and weaknesses.
And remember, no company is perfect. There will always be areas where they can improve.
Absolutely. So it's all about finding a provider that aligns with your priorities and risk tolerance. If you're someone who values super responsive support and you're not as concerned about price, then maybe Namecheap isn't the best fit.
But if you're on a tight budget and you're comfortable troubleshooting things yourself, then their affordable plans and extensive knowledge base might be appealing.
Yeah, it's all about finding that balance that works for you. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Namecheap, what are your final thoughts? Are they the all-in-one solution for all your online needs, or are there some caveats to keep in mind?
I'd say they're definitely worth considering, especially if you're looking for affordable domain names and hosting options. They've got a solid track record. They've been around for a while. And they seem to genuinely care about things like privacy and an open internet.
Right. They're not just some fly-by-night operation.
Exactly. But like we discussed, their customer support can be a bit inconsistent, and their website might not be the most beginner-friendly.
And let's not forget their penchant for upselling.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They definitely try to entice you with those add-ons at every turn.
So my advice would be to go in with a clear head and a defined budget.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to say no to those extras unless you're absolutely sure you need them.
And do your research. Read those independent reviews, compare their plans to your specific requirements. Ultimately, the best way to know if Namecheap is the right fit for you is to try them out for yourself. But hopefully this deep dive has given you the information and the confidence to make an informed decision. And hey, if you found this exploration of Namecheap helpful, be sure to check out our other deep dive episodes. We cover a wide range of topics all related to navigating the ever-evolving world of the internet. So until next time, happy browsing, and may your online adventures be filled with joy discovery and maybe even a few rabbit holes along the way.